Welcome to Learn with Amine. At the end of this video, you will have learned how to solve or program three sum programming question. So it is one of the most frequently asked interview question. In this, there is an integer array nums that is given to us, and you need to return all the triplets or all the triplets of elements within the array nums such that the elements are not at all equal and the sum of which is equal to 0. And also you need to make sure that the indexes are not equal. So that means you should not return the same duplicate elements. Notice that the solution set must not contain duplicate triplets. And the example that has been given, so for example, this is an array of integers. Now if we add -1 with 2, it returns 0, and then -1, 0 and 1, it returns 0. And if you are passing empty array, then the output should be an empty array, and if you are passing 0, then also the output is an empty array. So this is how the three-sum problem is described, and let's jump into the program right away. So first of all, I am defining a class solution, and then I am defining a user defined function three sum. But the thing is, the user defined functions cannot start with numbers, so I am going to name it as three sum, then self comma. So what is the argument that is passed is nums is the only argument that is passed here. Now in order to store our result and return it, I am going to basically define a variable for the array. So let me define an empty array, and this is basically the result or the output. So I need to return this. So in between we are performing operations and different conditions and looping or iterations in order to populate this particular array with the elements that sum to 0. So nums is an array that has been given to us. Now in order to find out the sum, I am going to sort the elements in the array in the ascending order, and that can be easily done by nums dot sort. Okay, and the length of the nums I am going to capture in a variable which is called as length. Okay, now I am going to iterate through all the elements in the array. For that, for I in range of length -2, I am going to take -2 because we are going to output the result of triplets. So with one I value, I can reach the end of the array because I will be considering I plus 1 and I plus 2. So that means I have to take I value ranging from 0 to the length -2. So this is for the iteration over the array. Now also it was mentioned that we need to skip the duplicate elements. So let us assume that I am going to add 3 elements, right? First element, second element, third element, and it has to be equal to 0. For the first element to not be duplicate, okay, I have to skip the duplicate values. If there are any duplicate values, if the duplicate values are present and if the first element is going to catch those duplicate values, I need to skip the duplicate elements. So for that, I will be writing this: if I is greater than 0 and nums of I, if it is equal to nums of I minus 1, then I need to skip I minus 1 and only consider I. So for that I am going to write continue. So this will continue the loop. Okay, So that is the thing, and I'm going to use a pointer for the second element, and I'll name it as left. Left is equal to I plus 1, and right will be the pointer for the third element, okay, and that will be equal to length minus 1. So I'm just assigning it for initialization. After that I will try to optimize the value of I, left and right such that nums of I, nums of left, nums of right should be equal to 0. Okay, so for that what I'm going to do is, while left is less than right, at that time I'm going to define a variable total that will be equal to nums of I plus nums of left plus nums of right. Okay, and this value we are thinking in our mind that this should be equal to 0. Okay, so there can be like a possibility of multiple conditions for the total. The total can be less than 0. Okay, then elif total can be greater than 0, and the else statement will capture total is equal to 0. Okay, now assume that total is less than 0. That means that it is less than 0 and we want to approach to 0. That means we need to increase the value, and that is possible by incrementing left, because our array is sorted in ascending order, right? So what I can do is I can increase the value of total by increasing the left element, and that is possible by just increasing the pointer to the second variable. So I am just writing left plus equal to 1. Okay, so this would increment the value of total and it will be tending towards 0, which is what we want. Now assume that total is greater than 0. That means the summation is greater than the target. Now we want to move the third pointer to the left because we want to reduce the value of total. So that's why right minus equal to 1. So this is what we are going to do. Now assume that if total is equal to 0, then what are we going to do? First thing is we got one of our triplets. So that would be, we are going to append this triplet into the result. Okay, so result is basically an array of arrays. Okay, so I'm going to append into this append into this an array of 3 elements, that is nums of I, comma, nums of left, comma, nums of right. Okay, that is performed, and now I'm going to move my second pointer to the right and move the third pointer to the left. Now you will be wondering, what about I? Where am I changing this I value? The I value is being changed in this loop, in the outer loop, so we are not worrying about this. Okay, so first of all let us capture all the conditions for left and right, and I value will be varied or changed in the for loop itself. So here left plus equal to 1, right minus equal to 1. Okay, so that is going to be done. Now there can be duplicates even here, right? We want to skip the duplicates for the second and the third element also, right? So for that we can say while left is less than right and nums of left, if it is equal to the next element, that is nums of left plus 1, then we are going to skip that left index and we will consider left plus 1. So left plus equal to 1. So we will be just doing an addition of 1 to the index of the second element. In the similar way, while left is less than right and nums of right, if it is equal to right of -1, then we are going to do right minus equal to 1. Okay, so this is that, and then the iteration of for loop, it takes care of the value of the index I. It keeps on changing from 0 to length -2. Okay, while doing that, while keeping I value fixed, we are changing the values of left and right. Okay, and then when all the left and right are completed, that is while the condition of left less than or less than of right is not satisfied, then it comes out of the loop, and then the I value changes and it basically searches for all of the elements. Okay, and that completes our loop, and finally we are going to return our result. Okay, in order to run this, let us define an object, which is my object is equal to solution of empty braces, and then nums is equal to -1 comma 0 comma 1 comma 2 comma -1 comma -4. Okay, now in order to run this, we are going to use the my object and then use the user defined function and pass to it the argument of that particular array. Now in order to run this, Control B or go to tools and then do build, and as you can see, the summation of this is 0, the summation of this is 0. So the result is an array of arrays. Okay, so this is basically the program for threesome. It is one of the most important interview question, so you can watch this video multiple times to understand the concept. And if you need help with interviews, then comment on the video and I'll try to bring more material to the channel. Thank you so much for your support. Take care and bye bye.